Well, hello and God bless you. This is Chris Boys from Authentic Voices Ministries, and it is great to be with you again. I took a break. I stepped down. I took a little while to rest and recover and be restored back to where I am right now. And I wanted to share a testimony around the reasons why, and also about how hard it was for me to go through that period because of the things that were going on in my life at the time. I recently started a new job. I'm an IT support professional, and it was a very tough, demanding job for a number of reasons. And I found it so hard to keep up with the demands of this job that I also was struggling to keep up with the demands of church and ministry. And I just knew something had to give. And so I sought the Lord and I really began to pray. And a number of other people began to maybe advised me to take a break, and I kind of didn't want to do that because it kind of felt like almost like it was a form of defeat, if you like. But I realized it became so obvious to me through a number of ways. One of the ways that it became obvious to me is, when a pastor like myself, when someone who loves people, love to give, I love to be a blessing, I love to support people, I love to sow the love of God into people's lives. And so I found myself actually saying to Sharon that I don't like people. And for me to say that, and I actually heard the words coming out of my mouth, I'm like, whoa. I said to Sharon, I can't believe I just said that. And I said, I actually realize right now I need to have a break. And then a friend of mine shared a vision that he had of me. And I was going really fast in a car. And he lifted the guy, he saw this giant hand of God come down and lift this car up. And basically, in this vision, he said he saw me that I was going along really quickly, and everything was accelerating, and I didn't even realize that things had stopped. Things weren't going any further, and it was so related to where I was at because I felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was going around in circles. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. Whereas for the longest time, like the last 2 years, even, I really felt like the next step, the next stage, the next step, the next stage. It was always just so clear what I had to do, what was next. Even when I got the instruction from the Lord on the website, how to build the website and what to do, it was all just so clear, so clear, so clear. And I just knew there were so many different reasons why I just had to make a decision. And so I really felt with all my heart that the Lord just wanted me to lay it down, just to lay it down at His feet. And folks, I've lived for the Lord, and I've wanted to do His will, and this has cost me. This has cost me money. This has cost me hours, thousands of hours. This has cost me so much, and I just couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand that. But I went, Lord, it's all for you. It's all about you. But it wasn't easy to do it, and I literally had to just lay it down at His feet, not knowing if I would ever pick it up again, not knowing if I would ever come back to it. I just knew I had to leave it with Him. And so I made the decision to step down. I made the decision to go on pause, put everything on hold, and just focus on my employment for a while. And that was quite hard because this job has tested every part of my being. And there were times when I just wanted to quit, and I asked the Lord, "Why did you give me this job? It's so demanding, it's so tough, it's so hard, it's so chaotic. These people that they have no real appreciation or give me any real support when it comes to IT, and it was just a really tough time. And there was times when I even wanted to quit. I was going to quit, and each time the Lord said, "No, wait, no, wait, no, wait," and I couldn't understand why the Lord had given me this job. Don't get me wrong, I was very grateful for it, but there were times when I was really struggling to keep up with the demands. And the business has recognised it, and the people have recognised it that own the business, and I am going to get some extra staff to help me soon. But the point of the story was the Lord has literally used this job to bring me to the absolute end of myself. Till I literally got to the point where I was just like, if you don't step in, if you don't carry me, if I don't lean on your grace, I'm not going to get through this storm. And so I really just felt like the Lord just wanted to, He wanted me to just rest in Him. And I needed to just trust Him. And every day, there were times when it was just like just sheer determination. I'm not going to quit. There were times when my wife even wanted to quit. But I thought, no, if the Lord said no, I won't quit. And the breakthrough came only recently. And I did not know what I was going to do or what the next steps were, or even if the Lord was going to give me back what he wanted me to do. I just couldn't understand. And so recently, I found myself in a situation where I ended up with a really big lump on my left shoulder, and it was quite painful. And I kept ignoring, and I kept doing it. I kept doing the normal male thing. Oh, I'll look at it. I'll look at it. I'll look at it. I'll look at it. Right, and it got bigger, and it got more severe, and it got more sore until eventually I had to have it looked at by a doctor. And then he said I need to go to hospital, and I had emergency surgery. And look, I'll be honest, folks, there was a time when I went through a bit of self-pity. I couldn't believe it. There was just so much that I've been through this year. I have had a guy that I was in partnership with, that I was in ministry with. I'm not going to mention any names, but the simple fact of the matter is I trusted this guy, I aligned with this guy, and he betrayed me. Simple as that. And there were also a situation where I had to go through a time with some friends where it was really quite a sad thing. We had a horrible argument, and we patched it up, and we've forgiven each other, and praise God for that. But that was still hard to go through. And also, we had to recently step down a member of the board, and we've had false accusations. We've had things thrown at us. We had to deal with legal matters, which I've never had to do before. And I went through all of that only to find the Lord say, give this to me. Lay it down at my feet. Like literally, when I say lay it down, I mean I had to give it up and realize I might never get it back. Because I was not going to come back to this. I was not going to keep doing this until he made it clear for me. This is what I've called you to. This is what I want you to do. Now pick it up. And so I find myself recovering from surgery day after day after day. I'm having to have wound dressings changed. It's still there. It's healed up nicely. And I just decided I'm going to go away for the weekend. I had a day off work approved. And my wife and I, we had some activities planned, and we went away, and it was lovely. And it was just a great weekend. And the way the Lord showed me that it was time to come back was just blew my mind away. It blew me away. I had a dream, and in this dream, it was very specific and it was very clear. I was walking along, and suddenly I could hear a baby crying. I didn't know what else to do except go to this baby and help it as soon as I could. And so I got into this car as soon as I could, and I reached in, and this baby was on the front seat, and it was in like a car chair. And I looked, and I felt so much compassion for this baby, you know what I mean? And I worked hard to unbuckle this baby because I could see that it was distressed, and I could see this baby just wanted to be free. And I noticed the baby was no more than about 2 years old. So I got this baby out of this car seat. Everything was fine. And next thing I know, we're traveling down the road, and all of a sudden I noticed I'm not driving. And I noticed there was a woman in the driver's seat driving the car. And I went, you're not supposed to be driving. I'm supposed to be driving. And then we got into a bit of an argument, and suddenly I woke. And this was like early in the morning. And instantly, and I do have the gift of dream interpretation, and I have interpreted other people's dreams before, instantly I knew what the dream meant. Authentic Voices has been going for exactly 2 years, folks. 2 years. And all of a sudden, without even realizing it, or I just knew exactly what the Lord wanted me to do, and I heard his voice. It was so clear, and say, it's time to come back. It's time to come back. And so I shared this with my wife, Sharon, and I told her what had happened. I told her about the dream, and she said, yep, it's time. It's time to come back. But I've also decided I'm going to do it in a staged, measured way, and I'm also going to do it with the Lord's pace. Because my friend Ruslana Ogusevich said, the Lord's going to teach you. He's going to show you how to do things at his pace. But here's the next bit I wanted to share. Authentic Voices birthed from the Lord through Chris and Sharon Boys. Not just Chris Boys, Sharon Boys. The next day, on the Saturday morning, after I've had this dream, we've just gone to this amazing thing called the Tulip Festival and saw these amazing colours, had a lovely lunch, really enjoyed the day. And here's myself with my wife, Sharon, and we're just putting on the TV, and we thought, well, we've got to kill some time. What will we do? So we put on Netflix. And when we put on Netflix, quite often there's something already there for you to watch, a suggestion, if you like. And here was this movie called The Starling with Melissa McCarthy and Chris O'Dowd from the IT Crowd, if anyone knows that show. And it said a moving story, and it was just something about it. I kept staring at it. I thought, I've got to watch this. I thought, I need to watch this. Now, the whole, if you like, moral of the story is it's about a woman whose husband and her are looking forward to the birth of their baby. And there's a little bird called a starling bird, which has made a nest. And she can't get rid of this bird. But the central theme of this story, which I couldn't believe, is the story of a man who is in a mental hospital because sadly they lost the baby to cot death. And this woman who just refused to give up on her husband. Now, if anybody knows my story, you'll understand that in the year 2016, I had a complete and total mental breakdown, and my wife refused to give up on me. And there's a key part of in the movie where Chris O'Dowd is saying, I've battled with depression since I was 20. I've always been so quick to give up on myself, but my wife's never given up on me. My wife doesn't know how to give up. My wife just always lives in hope. And I'm listening to these words, and I'm just like, that's like me talking about my wife. And I want to say this. He said, I don't want to give up on myself anymore, and I don't want to give up. I don't want to not quit for my wife. I want to not quit with my wife. And so suddenly I realized, I understood. It wasn't just about a break. It wasn't just about the Lord showing me. It's all about Him. It's all about Him. The Lord was showing me that my wife and myself, this is how Authentic Voices was born. This is how Authentic Voices was born. So I just wanted to share that testimony. And why I knew it was time, why I knew it was the right time to come back to Authentic Voices, to come back to church, to come back to being a pastor, to come back to doing media, to come back to doing what I've been doing. Folks, I went through a time where my whole life was just shaken. And the image I had in my head, the vision I got from the Lord was, when something's shaking, when you're going through a period where your whole life's being turned upside down, you need to know that which remains is going to be of Him. And that's what's happened for me. Everything about what He wanted, everything about who He is, I wanted it to come through. I wanted whatever He didn't want to go. I wanted whatever He wanted to remain. So this is all about Him. All about Him. Everything I'm saying, my testimony and the reason for me coming back is because He made it so clear to me it's time to come back. He made it so clear to me that He's raised me up to be a voice. And so has Sharon. She's not on with me now. I was going to bring her on. He has raised us up to be a voice. We are a married couple. And we really believe in family. We believe that the church is family, and we will continue to be the voice for family online. And we will continue to be the voice, the authentic voice for the Lord. This Sunday, I'm going to talk about a message that is burning in my spirit. And that message is the call to unity. What are you aligned to? The very first message I said at the start of this year, who do you say that Jesus is? Because that answer, folks, is going to determine what you're aligned to. There's no room for middle ground anymore. You're either aligned with the Lord and aligned with his heart, or you're not. Tune in this Sunday and I will share more about what I believe the Lord has been showing me about the division, about what's been happening, about what the enemy is doing, and about what I believe God's answer to it is. I just want to declare and decree I'm a voice, and I'm going to continue to be a voice for him. God bless you.